Iuno is one of those characters that gets a gigantic stat stick of a weapon. 36% crit rate, 35% damage ignore, and 20% liberation damage. Moongazer Sigil is a phenomenal 5-star weapon, and it is a perfect fit for Iuno, but does that make this weapon a must-pull to enjoy the Lunar Priestess Iuno? You know this weapon will be turning heads, and it has such a beautiful design, but it's still not the main object that you will actually be seeing on Iuno. It's not like Augusta's weapon where it commands pure power, but with a transparent weapon skin, you may not even notice it, as Iuno mainly uses her crescent ring in combat, right? My name is VoidEnigma, and I'll be discussing the significance of Iuno's weaponry, and if the newest signature weapon is a requirement, or if it's overhyped. Iuno isn't quite a main damage dealer, but she does deal a lot of damage, so let's talk about her signature weapon so that you can make the right choice. Moongazer Sigil hits all the right points for a great weapon. Substantial crit, defense ignore, good buffs, but you gotta remember that Iuno is a supporting character. She's not a main carry. She can be a main carry, but she's not quite a main carry. The more damage the better, sure, but for support she's bringing not as much damage as the main damage dealer. Even though this weapon offers an insane power to Iuno, if you're using her for just one role, as a buffer to Augusta, or maybe even Gion, it may not be worth the Astrites to pull. Iuno buffs Augusta by an insane margin. She quite literally doubles Augusta's damage, and Augusta is already crazy strong with just Mortify. You don't see Mortify sporting around the best weapons to get in more damage, so it might be better to prioritize other characters over her signature. And if you have a good replacement, then there's definitely no need to even get her weapon, right? She has the perfect replacement in Verity's handle, as this weapon rivals her signature. It's got a passive that she can perfectly use, and while it won't be as powerful as her signature, it is close enough. If you grab Shin Liao early along with this weapon, then you could share it with Iuno and they could both be insanely powerful. But if you don't have this weapon, then she still has other options, and the two best options for her both cost a little bit of money, but they're the two Battle Pass weapons. While they do lack a little bit of attack power, they're still pretty decent replacements. The newest addition to the Battle Pass, Ether Strike, gives her a nice 40% crit damage boost, and 23% attack and 35% liberation damage at max refinements, which is a suitable option. Meanwhile, already existing Stone Art is decent, giving up to a 54% liberation damage bonus by simply casting a resonant skill, which is very easy to do. You're losing some crit stats and other defense ignore stuff, but again, she's a supporting unit, so her damage is not that important. But if you do want to take Iuno to the next level, then these passives are actually quite substantial in the grand scheme of things, especially for a glorified support. Whether you go for the signature or not really depends on what you want out of Iuno though. If you plan to use her with only Augusta as a support, and don't really want to expand upon her use as a main carry or a quick swapper, then using the lesser weapon choice will be better suited for you. After all, that's roughly 10k Astrites saved, right? But if you do want to use Iuno in some crazy teams, like with Changli Quick Swap, or having her have a much more active role in the damage distribution on the team, then her signature is a must. It all depends on how much you want to invest into Iuno, but just remember that her damage output won't be nearly as great as the main damage dealer, so she won't be the best choice in any fight, but she'll definitely be a fun one. As a character who can weave in and out of the air, I am looking forward to some amazing swap techs and aerial gameplay that she can do. What do you all think though? Are you grabbing this weapon, or are you going to actually just have Iuno be pure support? Maybe you lack all the weapon options and you have to put Abyss Surges on her. Leave a comment on your weapon choices for Iuno and what you plan to use her as. At the end of the day, Iuno is a support buffer, and that doesn't stop her from doing some crazy damage, but that's Astrites save for a new character, and sometimes a new character is way better than a weapon. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you found this informative, and until next time, Enigma out.